So let's start off with first, could you give me an introduction on what exactly is happening, what do you do and everything?
Yeah, I right now I am the Chief Design Officer at SAP. Prior to SAP, I've been in the technical industry, mainly in sort of big sort of tech businesses that span multiple products and portfolios and based in different countries. I started my career at Oracle. Also had a career at IBM and now at SAP. And across the three, the common part is that generally my goal is to kind of help build products and solutions that are meaningful to users. So that's where I come in with my background in design. I have a master's in design. I've been a design practitioner and leader, and the current role that I'm a chief design officer at SAP. I'm responsible for the sort of design quality excellence and innovation of products through end user experiences.
How is AI changing the definition of design impact? How has it actually impacted design?
I think it remains to be seen where it's not really a past tense. I think we are going through the reinvention, transformation, a similar term around the impact of AI because we're still getting to know what AI can actually do. This is an important part. If you really think about design, there is the competency of design and then there is what designers do. I think the competency of design, we've been used to using different tools and sort of artifacts to get design done. I think what the advances of AI is letting us liberate our time away from low minutia things, administrative things, to working on higher order strategic things, like actually thinking about what problem are we trying to solve and what can we do in our designs and solutions to help an end user get their job done, be successful in what they're trying to do, versus spending inordinate amount of times creating artifacts of how it's going to look. Eventually, how it's going to look and feel is important, of course, but the thinking is a little bit more important. So AI, in that perspective, is actually going to give wings to our spirit of design. The reason why we became designers is because we wanted to solve complex problems, not necessarily just create artifacts.
But also considering that design is a very creative, field, and with so much of creativity around, what will remain uniquely human in design?
Uniquely human in design is the fact that at the end of the day, humans use products and services not just because they have to, it's also because of their emotional connect. The way they feel about using a product is uniquely human. Humans use products to do the job, and there's an amount of career perception and sort of curve out there. So uniquely to design, I think the fact that we design for humans is not changing. At the end of the day, AI is just a technology. How we experience the technology is all really about how humans can adapt their thought process. So I feel like, yes, AI is interesting. It's giving us different ways of looking at the problem, but the end problem is still the same. We're still designing for users, obviously, with AI being a thought partner. That's the difference here.
How should design leaders evolve their role? Considering this is an age of automation.
I think, like everything else, the bigger question is how should leaders evolve? Design leaders, obviously being a part of the domain here. In general, leadership is really about momentum. It's about proactiveness. It's about strategic foresight. It's about sort of leading, as the word suggests. And I think that with this age of AI, the market is hot and ripe with innovations coming left, right, and center. And design can now actually play a role of being the curator of differentiation. So being ahead of the curve, it's not just about what we design for today. It's important that we start thinking about what we design for 5 years. When the next generation of workers and users are coming into the field, what would their expectations be? So this is the area that we, often tend to forget sometimes in the day-to-day. When we're designing for the today, the design for the business of the next quarter, the next month, the next year. But really what it has come down to is we have to lead the way in initiating innovation and doing a little bit of user research driven validation of where the future is meant to be. And finally, most importantly, influencing, embedding, and using of unbiased AI in the right ethical way. I think that's where we're going to spend a little bit of time on. It's not just AI, but is it going to harm the users? Are we applying the right policies? Can we pass the right context to the user, to the AI, so that it can do the right thing for users? So that's a little pivot from just designing products and solutions to really thinking about how are we applying AI and for what use case. So that's where the pivot is going to be.
Talking about ethical, ethics, I was just wondering, how do you balance innovation with ethical responsibility in AI-driven design?
I think in general, Rashmi, I feel most people who build products want to build products that are ethical, that does good for humans. So it's a natural inclination. But I think in AI, since there's a lot that is unknown, we have to double down on what I call as fair and explainable AI, which is essentially opening up the black box of AI to users to consume it, to for them to make sense of what is AI trying to do for us, how is it doing the thing it is doing, what is the kind of data sources it's looking at to do what it's doing, and should I trust it? So a little part of us it's not just about having ethical principles and frameworks in place. That's important.
Yeah.
And we need to kind of educate everyone around it. But it's important to also clear the whole black box about AI. There's still a trust issue with AI. Because some of it is, especially in the domain I'm in the business domain, so people actually will use AI to do their job. And if you make a wrong decision, you have to really trace back and figure out what is it that I did or didn't do to make it happen. And so the more AI can be traceable, the more AI can be explainable, the better off it is. So it's really about not only having ethical principles, but making sure users are in control and they only use the AI they want to use.
Yeah. Considering there'll be rapid AI adoption, how do you think design teams should stay relevant and resilient? How can they do that?
Like every other profession, one of the first things is you cannot design for AI if you don't understand what the technology does. So the design teams of the current and the future will have to do a better job of playing with the technology and staying curious about all the advancements of this technology and keeping up to speed. I think that the lines are still blurring between what a designer does and what anyone else does. And I do think that part of the edge that designers have is that they are good thinkers, they're good connectors. So as our roles evolve into higher order things that I talked about, keeping a pulse on the tooling that's used to build products and having a common language and shared vocabulary with our partners around product management, engineers, etc., is what designers need to do. So a lot of it is around strategic thinking, but also being able to be the shepherds that connect the dots and bring all the disciplines together. So we feel our role is not just building products going forward. It's really about bringing different competencies together, and we use each of our other expertise to bring better products into the market.
Yeah. And what does design value look like in a world where tools can be, created instantly?
Tools can be created instantly, but the quality of the tools, the usage and adoption of the tools are things that designers can impact. So yes, of course, AI is great at generating, many different ideas and concepts and even realizing a product. But what AI cannot do is reason as humans. AI cannot understand the pain points that humans are going through when they're using the software. AI
Yeah.
cannot understand in at what context, what's the environment that you use it. So I think this is where the value of designers is. It's not just the thing itself, but how that thing is going to be used. The business is honestly, it's not just about AI for AI's sake, right? It's really about adding AI into your products and solutions so that your consumers get the most out of it. And in
Yeah.
that context, the two metrics that matter the most is usage slash adoption and satisfaction. And these are the two things. Satisfaction is uniquely human. Every human has a different perspective on what satisfaction means. This is
Mm.
where designers play a big role in connecting the human latent needs and wants to what the technology can do.
What skills will define the next generation of impactful designers?
Um, I think some of the core constructs of designers and the skill sets that are required are still in place. So, for example, we can we can consider that the principles of interaction design, user experience design, information architecture, user research, color theory, so on and so forth, are still important. That's part of your core skills. But the skill that designers have to grow or do more of are things like storytelling,
Mm.
um, uh, things that are like around scenario building, deeper idea of building a domain around how does AI pick up the context of use, picking up some data science skills. I won't suggest designers become data scientists, but they should be able to look at the usage and adoption data which I was talking about and make sense of it and explain it to the business so that we can build better products. And finally, I think the designers will become the sort of, they are in a lot of ways, the representatives of end users. They will continue to do that, but now they're also going to be deep about ethical practices and building products that are useful for end users.
Okay. So one last question. How do you think mentoring can adapt when AI accelerates learning curves?
Look, AI can accelerate learning curve 100%. Mentoring is not just about learning.
Mm.
Mentoring is also about coaching.
Yeah.
Mentoring is also about understanding where someone is at in their point in time in their career, to understand their context of work and giving meaningful suggestions. I don't think AI can take away that perspective. So picking up new skills or understanding new concepts, that's great. AI is great for that. But the softer side of how do you get better work done? How do you get buy-in into your ideas? How do you as a designer become successful and ensure that everyone around you is inspired by that? That's something that's not a AI driven sort of a perspective. So, mentor is uniquely human and that continues to be a for. But I do think that it's always great to have a sparring partner in AI. So as you have good ideas, it's always, it's possible to interact with AI and get some more ideas from it. So you can expand on those ideas. So I feel, mentor, a human mentor plus
Mm.
leveraging AI technology can expand your sort of intellectual capacity as a designer, and that's a really good thing because not everyone has access to great mentors or great technology. Now there's a chance that everyone has access to great technology, and then you couple it with people that you look up to, you might get the career advice in the moment at a pace you need to be able to advance in your career.
Okay. So any parting thoughts?
Parting thought is I would say that I am personally um, consider myself fortunate to be part of this transformation and evolution we're going through of tremendous sort of technological advancements and the ability for us to shape the future that we want to be part of. So I see AI as an enabler,
Mm.
and maybe I'm more on the positive end. I think we can make a huge difference to humanity apply AI in many cases for social, for sort of consumer, as well as for sort of scientific advancements that gets us humans to serve our purpose in this earth. And I think it's a philosophical take, and I would say that our job as designers is to hold on to the values of us as humans, but not be afraid of technology. We should, imbibe technology, figure out how it can help us, and design our future around that.
Great. Thank you so much, and thank you for talking to us.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.